Anshul is a UI UX designer, and he transforms ideas into images, portraying your faith and beliefs in his designs.
Yeah.
Having worked with numerous UI projects and designs, he currently works with CoinSwitch as a senior product designer and has also worked with other well known brands like White Hat Junior, BYJU'S, etc. So, welcome to the session, Anshul, and it's a pleasure to have you today with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah,
So,
excited for this session. Thank you. Yeah.
yes, yes. So, without much ado, let's just get into the questions right away.
Yeah.
So, how did you first get interested in product designing, and what led you to pursue this as a career?
See, I from my BTech, I'll talk about let's say I'm a BTech graduate in information technology, so I've been learning all this computer science, the OOPS concepts, front end, right? While doing BTech, I've been involved myself into a lot of graphic designing stuff in all the learning. Let's say in all the college festivals, I've been doing all the graphic designing work, designing posters and all, because see, I know my craft is very good from my school life. So when I get to know about UI UX designing, that there's a process when you create a website or let's say an app, there's a process of UI UX designing. Before that, you can't code or let's say implement any application or website, right? So that is why I shifted myself after the BTech, because see, it involves the process of creating high quality apps that provides user with great user interface and experiences. So I'm passionate about using my skills to craft products that makes people's life easier and more enjoyable. Yeah. So so that is how I converted myself into product designer. Although I know because I'm not in touch with all the coding part and let's say the front end everything, but I know how to do it. So yeah, BTech helps me to do that, because before let's say doing any designing course, if you are involving yourself into product designing, you should know the basics of how the developers code it, because you can actually see through their vision how they want to develop it, how you want to let's say give them all the designs for it. Yeah, that's my journey. Yeah.
So, well, just like you said, that you started right from the childhood and you were
Yeah.
really great at your art.
Yeah.
So, taking from this question, what are your key skills and qualities that you think are probably essential for everyone who is into product designing?
Yeah. So, see, there are many key responsibilities as a designer. You should take, I mean, into consideration. Let's say the first, the most important one is the user-centric design, right? So, whenever, let's say, if you use, I'll give the example. I'll make it very easy for the users to understand. Let's say if you're using Uber, right? So Uber has been created just to ease out to let's say go from point A to point B, right? They are solving a problem that how you can let's say you can use a transport from your home and you can directly go from point A to point B. So user centric is just to solve the user's problem. It's the ability to understand and empathize with users to create products that actually meet their needs and solve the problem. That is the major part, and it comes with the question why. Let's say whatever you are doing, let's say whatever product whatever problem you're solving, so the main question comes in the why you're doing it, right? There can be multiple ways to do it. Why you have chosen this particular problem to do it? This is the first question for any product designer. As a UX designer, whenever you are entering into the industry, helps you to figure out whether you're into a right track or not. Okay.
Right.
So this can be matlab, this is just the first point. There can be multiple points, as in let's say problem solving. Again, I have actually covered it in why. So problem solving, user centered design is basically when you are making it for the user, that means you are actually solving a problem, right? So you should be, let's say problem solving will be the second step where you do it right after the idea. And the third one will be data analysis. Let's say what metrics you are chasing. Let's say you collect and analyze the data. Okay, let's say you go to users, you ask what is the problem, right? So if you talk about let's say Uber ka example, we can take it, or let's say Google Maps. So when Google Maps was not there, people are finding it difficult to go from position A to B, right? So you go to the people that is this the real problem you need it,
Hmm.
right? So you collect the data, right? There are different metrics you chase, that why we are doing it. Is there a data behind it? Are there user really need that problem to be solved? So this is something, so this is something we need to take, let's say, consider it as a key role while you're solving any problem. Yeah. Apart from that, there, let's say, if you talk about product designing in terms of, let's say, if you are solving a problem, there might you not be the single one. Let's say there is a communication collaboration between the teams, intra teams, or let's say you work with different product managers, you talk to them, you talk with the developers, right? So there's a process which involves you to reach your final step to, let's say, implement the product. So communication and collaboration is also the part. It's the key responsibilities that you should be taking care while working in a product design company or as a product designer. Okay. So having a product designers or product design in the company, it actually helps ease out for the company to, let's say, to launch a very user centric product, right? Because we really emphasize, we really see the data, then we launch it. How, let's say, we need to create the tracker. So let's say steps for the users, how we can ease out that process is basically all these responsibility we should be taking care of it. Yeah.
Yes. So, well, I think product design is no different. Knowing your whys in whatever you're doing or wherever you're going
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
you are doing something that you're doing is very important.
Yes. Yes. For sure. For sure.
So, so that was an excellent answer. Moving to the technical side of it now, what are the softwares and tools that a product designer uses and needs? So, if you could elaborate upon that.
See, there is, see, for the tools that you asking, right? See, I guess there are multiple tools in the market. I don't want to be specific about a single tool. I guess it depends on what ecosystem you are more comfortable with. There are, let's say, I personally use Sigma. I've been using it for 4 years now. Before that, I used to do in Adobe XD, where I learned product designing. People can use any software. It depends on how it can ease out the process, not only for the developer also. Because let's say when you do all the product designing, we do it in such a way so that the developers works gets easy and they can take the components from it. See, right now all the software has eased out few of the works for the developers. Let's say they give them the codes in the capsules, right? They can take the code from it, small CSS properties which can help them, so that they don't have to just click on the particular. So there are components in all the artboards, right? Let's say I'm creating a button has a style, it has a color, it has a corner radius, the button you click, right? So they don't have to click on it and see it. They can directly copy the CSS properties. Or let's say there is an icon, earlier they used to go on the web and search it and download it. Right now they can take it from our Figma file, right? So whatever ease out the process, XG can also work for it, right? Figma can also work for it. Although I personally use Figma just because the community which I am working in, the mostly they use Figma only. Product managers use Figma only. Yeah. So there are multiple Figma, or let's say multiple tools for it. On the other end, there is other side of product designing also. Let's say if you want to give a happy emotions to the users, people do animations and all. Let's say in the world of cred, let's say if anybody has used cred, right? There's fancy animations going in, there's happy emotions, right? There are small animations. So for that, I personally use Figma just because for the animation I use Adobe After Effects. So the collaboration between Figma and Adobe After Effects is very smooth, right? We can directly, let's say, export our design from Figma to After Effects. So it makes very easy for me to, let's say, do it in a fast way. Yeah. Baki people can use multiple software for animation also. Protopie is there. There's a normal prototype we can use Figma also. But for high end animations, all people do use After Effects. Yeah.
So, apologies again, Anshul. Now, moving to the next question. How do you stay up to date with the latest design trends and technologies? And how do you actually incorporate them in your work while you actually work?
See, the most important thing for a designer is to get yourself up to date with the design trends which is happening. So I guess if any new designers is entering into the industry, they might not know the different websites they should be reading about, or let's say getting their time into. So I personally like to read. articles in medium.com. It helps me, let's say, what are the new design trends or what are the UX properties. You can search anything on medium.com. It's not only related to design, it can be
Hmm.
related to any
Anything.
other fields
Yes.
also. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On the other hand, I follow many designers on social media, let's say
Hmm.
on Twitter or any other social media app, so that I know what they're working on, right? So you not only learn from different articles or seeing I mean different articles, you can learn from different people also,
People's work. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
people's work also, and
Hmm.
how they are approaching that, let's say, design approach kya hai, right? So that
Hmm.
is also the most important thing that we need to take care of. On
Hmm.
the other hand, there might be, let's say, I every day I have my routine. There's a website called dribble.com, right?
Hmm.
That is specific for designers. Dribble is the most beautiful website for designers. On the other hand,
Okay.
Behance is also there.
Hmm.
So Dribble, I have a habit of, let's say, every day half an hour to 1 hour I scroll Dribble, because I
Hmm.
get to know what people are working on in terms of animation, in terms of mobile design, in terms of website designing.
Hmm.
These are all the, let's say, social media, Dribble, Medium.
Hmm.
Get, I myself get up to date.
So is it like the Instagram for product
Yeah.
designers?
Yes.
Dribble.
People should open it.
Yes.
People will love it. It
Yes.
sometimes be demoralizing because people are doing crazy things in that, but it will also give you
Yes.
motivation that I also want to make this.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
see some animation, 3D something. People use Blender and all, so people will love to learn that, right?
Yes.
If
Yes.
you take it like that and not, let's say, demoralizing themselves that why I'm not making this, but yeah,
Hmm.
there's a time will come that with the experience you will do it. Yeah.
Yes. I think seeing more of other people's work can actually help you explore your own art and how you approach
Exactly,
things.
exactly. See,
Yes.
what happens that, let's say if I'm actually watching one design, one animation, I
Hmm.
would like to take parts from it, not, let's say, the whole animation. Let's say
The
one
whole.
part which I like, I want
Hmm.
to get that part into my design also, and want to, let's say, uh, club with the let's say older animation of mine, and we'll see that how it will look with the modern look of what other people are doing it, right?
Hmm.
So it's your design plus what the trend which is happening in the market right now can
Hmm.
help you a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, Anshul, since you're an artist and art is something that probably cannot be fathomed or measured in metrics, but we're
Okay.
living in a world where we have to measure the metrics and know the amount of work we're getting, the success we're getting in the work that we're doing. So, moving from this to the question, how do you actually measure your success in your designs, and what are the metrics that you actually use to track your performance?
So I mean, measuring my success comes from the metric that you chase, right? It's never that I'm not chasing any metrics and I'll get the success. It never happens in product design, right? So I work in a company where we have the user insight team, right? So user insight team, how they work is they analyze the data, they work on the data, they figure out what metrics we are chasing. Let's say if you're working on a project, we create the trackers. Let's say we create the screens A, B, C, D, right? So
Yes.
from A to B, how we are going it, what metric we are chasing, why we are going it, right? So we create the trackers, they make the metrics on the basis of our trackers, and they give us the report what we are working on, right? On the other hand, let's say we have launched a product, right? We are doing user testing and everything. So we will get the data about how the product is working in terms of user behavior, right? Okay. In terms of that also, we chase that metric that whether this product is successful or not, what we needed, what on our end we need to change. So there is a whole data inside team which sits, which actually creates the data metrics around it, and will give us the report. This is how the process works in any company, in any big product company. That is how you success. See, work product working very good is the success metrics for us also, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So that is how we measure our success.
Well, to all the aspiring product designers out there, here's
Hmm.
how you can actually measure your success.
See, I'll tell
Uh,
you. Yeah.
yes.
Go ahead with your
No, no,
question.
no. Please add on. Please add on.
See, I'll tell you. It's not. I am seeing too many product designers coming out of from NIFT. I'm not. I'm in National Institute of Fashion and Technology.
Fashion. Yes, yes.
There are NIDs. There are people from BTech. I'm a BTech. So if someone will tell me
Yes.
that you can enter into any design, so it's not the right thing. See, whatever you're doing, either you're from NIFT, either you're from NID or from BTech, whatever you're doing, let's say for new fellow designers, it's just one message: hold on to one problem that you want to solve, create a product around it, solve a problem around it, one or two problems that you can do it. Okay, build the product around it and pitch your product. So for those fellow designers, when you trying to solve a problem, right now many designers I've seen, they directly jump into the final conclusion. I myself have done it. That is, I've learned it. Right? Don't do that. You directly jump to the final UI part, only UI part. It's a very good looking UI. That will not going to land you any job. Right? It might, but at some point of your life, you need to understand the data and what problems you're solving is the most important thing. So it's easy, right? So there, obviously there is a day, let's say if there's a door behind me at this side, right? There is a UX behind it. Why there's a sliding door? Because to save the space, right? So there is a proper problem that we are solving for everything around us,
For everything. Yes.
right? Why the lamp is like that shape, why there's a let's say rotating doors evolve, let's say I mean introduce in this world, right? So everything has a problem that has solved. So you should take you should look around you. There are a lot of problems that everybody has already solved. So
Yes.
try to solve something good, and let's say whatever you're doing, just ask why you are doing it. So from the starting you will be very settled from your mind that why you are doing it. People don't do it. I myself sometimes don't do it. Please don't put yourself into that trap. Ask the why question. That is most important. That is what going to help you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Why everyone?
asking,
So they have been locked or they can't speak.
no, no, everyone will get a chance to speak and interact with you.
Oh,
Once, just let's get over with our questions,
yeah,
because we
yeah,
wanted, yes, to you to answer a few questions for us, and then,
yeah,
of course, the public will get a chance.
yeah.
Um, and I wanted to announce that after one question, we shall be opening the public chat. And
Sure.
yes, just like you said, addressing the why and the problems around you is very important in order to gain
Yeah,
good results in terms of your work. So,
yeah.
well, yes, and another answer very amazingly put, Anshul. And moving to the second last question here, what do you see the future of product designing, and how do you think the field will actually evolve in the coming years? And what are the advancements or the developments that you will probably see around coming?
Hmm. See, the design is already evolved, right?
Hmm.
It always evolves, just like the technology always evolves.
Hmm.
Right now, I see there's let's say there's an era of Web3 and metaverse, right?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
the product is evolving into complicating platforms such as metaverse, right? Web3, AI. Okay.
Hmm.
Learning about those product in those area will be very good. Okay. In terms of machine learning, AIs, everything is evolving, and design is also evolving with that. For example, I'll give you an example. Okay. Uh, if you all have heard of ChatGPT, right?
Hmm.
Just
Yes.
type the query, type anything, it will give you an
Yeah.
answer, right?
Yes.
How you can convert that machine learning AI, how you can convert that AI beautifully with that into a product
Hmm.
which it can solve others' problem also. See, it's just an AI which is solving a problem, query based. Whatever you
Hmm.
write, it gives you answer, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Whatever you write. For example, let's say how that can be useful
Hmm.
in the product. I'll give you one more example. Let's say me and you were talking
Hmm.
on the chat. Let's say you are on, let's say you are from some other country. You speak German, right? I'm from India. I speak Hindi. Okay, I'm writing in Hindi. Let's say on chat, you are writing in German. How chat GPT can help translate it on the go if we
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
build a product around it, right? So that is how the design is also evolving. Sorry, with
Hmm.
the help of machine learning and AI.
Hmm.
Right. Blockchain Web3 is the upcoming concept, which is again currently it is going on from last 2 years. I
Hmm.
work in the crypto based. It's totally based on that only,
CoinSwitch. Yes.
right? So it's just like that. So the modern era will be totally based on all these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, another insightful answer. And I would like to inform all our audiences who are watching us right now that the public chat will now be open after Anshul answers one more question for us. And the last question, Anshul, is that what advice do you actually have for aspiring product designers, and what steps and mistakes should they take and avoid in order to be, to be able to create that breakthrough moment for them?
See, I already explained. Okay.
Yeah.
For the product designers, I already explained that begin with the projects. Okay.
Hmm.
Solve the problem. Explain the
Hmm.
hypothesis
Hmm.
and the user research. You can do that. Come up with some rough designs. Let's say on paper, build the product, build the problem statement, and then falling on the final designs of it. Right.
Right.
So that is how you approach it. This is what it is for all the product designers who are working for it. That can be on any field, not UI UX. It can be a leather design. It can be any product design, any product design. Right.
Hmm.
So that's a very simple answer, I guess, that everybody should follow in terms of
Yes.
product designing. Yeah.
So one more thing I would like to ask from my own, like,
Yeah.
what is your biggest learning, right? You coming from a BTech background to becoming a product designer and being associated with so many big companies.
Yeah.
What is your biggest learning?
So my biggest learning comes up with the people which I, let's say, revolve around. Okay.
Hmm.
One my biggest learning was from Duty Free List, which I initially worked with Chitresh Goyal.
Hmm.
Okay. So I was the only designer working with him. Okay. So my biggest learning was they pushed me with the limits.
Hmm.
Right. On the other hand, after that company, after those people, I have not came across anyone who can push me in terms of design. You are the only sole learner in this field.
Hmm.
Right. This is you who should be doing anything, let's say everything, anything and everything. You should be opening YouTube. If you want to learn something, open YouTube, open Coursera, open
Hmm.
Udemy, take the courses and start learning. This is how you are going to take forward yourself. If you want to learn something, learn it. Right.
Hmm.
Nobody is going to teach you. You can take classes from online, everything.
Hmm.
Okay, that is what pushes me. And I've been with one of the great people from Duty Free List. I worked alongside some good colleagues, which has helped me to push my limits. That is why I am here. If they have not given me any chance, I could have not been here. Right. So whosoever you are involving with, you just uh, you just be there and learn with them.
Hmm.
Okay. And you have to push yourself. Nobody is going to push you. You
Hmm.
just have to push yourself. They'll just give you the lessons how you are going to pursue, let's say in
Hmm.
the upcoming steps. So those are just the lessons that you need to learn. Just learn on your own. Just don't stop. Yeah.
Yes. So pushing your limits, since working outside of your comfort zone is what is very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a few questions from the public, and Vrithi asks us, how can a product designer balance the need for creativity with practical considerations such as time and budget constraints?
Okay. Time and budget constraints.
Hmm.
For See, you need to understand the time constraints that you have. Let's say if you are working in a product company, right?
Hmm.
There are two types of approach that we follow. I don't understand what do you mean by budget constraints. Are you? Do you mean by how you can build the product under the limited budget? What it is? I don't understand the question.
Yes, if you
I,
could like elaborate on both of the things.
okay.
Suppose if someone is working on a freelance basis, or maybe they have like a restricted budget and they have to deliver something in that budget, then how can one proceed?
See, I mean, you need to understand the value of the project that you are working on. Okay, first of all. Second is you also need to see that whether that project is really helpful and can really be successful in the upcoming, let's say, months or years. Okay, how you can balance it, seeing the practical consideration. You can't, let's say, for my point of view is that, let's say if you're solving a bigger problem, it comes with the budget, right? You, in initial days, you can solve, let's say you can do any freelance at low budget.
mm,
because for the sake of earning and all, which will also gives you learnings of different how to approach the design, right? So balance, how you will do the balance is what is the need of the project to be completed in a particular time, right?
mm,
If it is taking more time, if it is the larger problem to be solved, then you should openly ask for the time.
mm,
If the time constraints gets smaller, you can't build a good product. Good
mm, mm.
products always goes with the time.
Need time. Mm,
It
mm,
needs time, it needs the questions to be answered, it needs
mm,
proper metrics to be chased, and it
mm,
needs proper discussion to be built on, right? So if you're doing just small कि यार हमको एक food delivery app बनानी है, you can do it. You can do it in 3 days.
mm,
Okay, you can charge good money for that, right? So it depends on what problem you're solving and how, I mean how big the problem is.
mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
The second is
So,
Puneet.
Puneet, yes. So, if we are creating any product from scratch, what process or flow should we follow? What is your process like? So, he wants to know your process, Anshul.
See, I'll tell you, there are two types of project that we follow in my company also. How we do it, there is one product, let's say, which is already, let's say, live in the market. We need to do some, let's say 1.0 product is already live in the market. 2.0 needed to be built on the basis of data that we have got, that user is not happy with it, or let's say user is happy with it, we need to create
Mm,
a second version of it, right? Then how do we do it? Let's say we divide the process. Let's say we go into the discussion with data team, we go into the discussion with product manager team, we read the product description. There is known as PRD. If everyone knows, there's a PRD that product managers gives to the designer, whether it's a scratch new project, whether it's a
mm,
renovation project, right? So PRD explains you what problem we are solving and what metrics we are chasing. They have already discussed it with the data team. So we all sit together and we discuss about the project. Okay. So if you are building a project, any product or project with the scratch, it comes with, first of all, brainstorming, right?
mm,
You will be sitting with all the designers, product managers, and data team, brainstorming about what needed to be done in that project. What are the whys we are solving, right? And what will be the major steps involved in it? Whether that needed to be, let's say if it's a big project, we need it to be, let's say if it's a 3 months project, nobody can give you 3 months, nothing. Let's say if you are working in a very startup based culture, nobody will give you 3 months.
mm,
Then what we do is we divide it into the phases, phase
mm,
2, phase 3. Phase 1 will take it in a month, phase 2 will take it in second month, right? Till the time phase 1 will be there launched, we have the data of phase 1, right? While we are working in phase 2. So what we do brainstorming and everything. Then we work on the paper. Just like I said about the new product designer to be, how what important roles the product new product designers who are coming needed to be followed is the rough designs, right? Problem solving, why we are doing it now, there has to be some rough paper designs to be made, so that it gives, see, working on the paper design always solves the, it always gives you the clarity of what we are doing and what you want to approach in terms of problem, right? It gives you good ideas, right? You create product, let's say wireframes. It we say that low fidelity wireframe. So those all are wireframes on the paper, right? If you do any drawing also, that is also a wireframe with the pencil or with the pen, right? So then we create that. We take 3 4 days. We discuss with the product manager. Is these paper designs are solving a problem or not? We write down the use cases, if, or, nor, everything we write it down, right? Whether that is solving the problem or not, whether we are reaching the final destination or not, final step or not. Then when we have a proper, then again we go into the brainstorming session related to those wireframes, those paper designs. Once we are locked into that, then we jump into the main UI part of it, which we call as user interface.
mm,
User experience we have already solved in those paper designs. Paper design doesn't mean only solving a problem, it solves the user experience.
mm,
That we click on this, it goes to this page, it goes to this page, why we are doing it, so it solves everything. So it is easier for us to, let's say, uh, make the UI part of it, right? Then we give the final UI to the product managers, we give the sign off, then the developers take it, right? That developer have some questions, we go into a round with developers also. Okay, so this is how we approach in terms of if you're building it with the scratch. It comes with a time constraint also, right? If you're not building with scratch, if it's a renovation, let's say the product is already live, we want to do some renovation, then what we do, we'll reduce the time that it will not take time. We directly jump to the user interface of it. Yeah, I guess I have answered Puneet about that.
Yes, Puneet must be super satisfied. Mm, because I think what you said is definitely, I mean, it works for everything, and brainstorming is like the basic, it's the foundation of whatever idea you're deriving or working on. So,
Yeah,
yes, I think great process.
yeah.
Moving on to the last question, Bhavtosh asks us, Hi Anshul, can you share any examples of real world design problems that you have solved, and what have you learned from them?
Okay, okay, okay. So I'll give you one example which is yet to be live in the upcoming months. So we are launching multiple assets in CoinSwitch. This nobody knows. We are going to launch it. So there's a problem with, let's say, we were solving, like there's a process called, if anybody has done fixed deposit, there's a very big process from any third party app. If you go to ET Money, IND Money, so there's a process like 7 to 8 steps, which goes on and on and on and on. You don't know when you're going to lock the FD. If you're not doing from the bank, we were solving the problem how we can reduce the step because it was going on and on. Why people will come to our platform if there are already multiple platforms outside, let's say, outside the CoinSwitch. Okay, so you're solving the problem that how we can reduce the steps and all. Other people how they're doing, they don't show the process of, let's say, from A to B. There are multiple steps and all. There are 7 steps. They don't clearly tell user that there are 7 steps. They might end up losing the users, right? On the other hand, I've also seen that users are already leaving from the middle page just because people don't know how many steps are left. So we introduced something like step 1, 2, 3, which is a very normal problem to be solved. So we introduced it 1, 2, 3, and in the 3 problems, you are going to lock your, let's say, whatever investment you're doing, and so that the user will be known from the first step that I have to do the 3 step. If the user intention is very high to do to book the FD, they can do it from the first page, right? We want to clarify the users that this is what it is, and we don't want you to give 7 to 8 steps for it. Yes, there are multiple steps. Let's say we have break down 2 steps and mixed into one, something like that. That is not the high, let's say, highest end solved problem, but it's a very easy hack that we have done. Okay, problem in terms of, let's say, real world problem. See, product design में ऐसा कुछ real world problem जैसा कुछ नहीं होता. It doesn't involve like that. These are just the minor use cases that needed to be solved in terms of what projects you are working on, right? Although in CoinSwitch I have always worked on the new scratch projects, right? And yeah, there are multiple examples for it, but I can't tell you. ठीक है. On the other hand, we have few more. Yeah, I'll tell you one good example. So what we did, there was a section in CoinSwitch, earlier CoinSwitch. There's a learn section where we give news about the cryptos, right? People are not. It's a real world design problem that we are solving in CoinSwitch, and we are getting a very good data. So, so we're working on some this learn section where user click on the tiles of it, they see the heading of the newsletter, and they don't even open it because it's not so much intuitive for the user to open it. So then in the new CoinSwitch app, if people have used the crypto CoinSwitch app, there's a learn section, right? In the world, in the era of Instagram shorts, Instagram, let's say reels, YouTube shorts, people are too busy in scrolling, right? Where most of the, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hour goes into scrolling. So we introduce something similar to that, because if in the real world people are using it, why not to introduce, just like if people have used InShots to read the news, right? We have introduced the crypto news like that only, scrolling, right? But I don't want it to make it so boring for the user to do it. Then we introduce, let's say, if you're scrolling one news, second news, third news, right? Then we'll give you some quiz. You click on it, there will some happy confetti emotions coming in, pop-ups coming in, pop तो होता है ना ऐसे, it sprinkles around the screen,
Right, right, right.
right?
Hmm.
Then you scroll, we'll give you the polls. That what do you think will be the upcoming next coin will going to boom?
Hmm. Hmm.
So people started
Making it more
interacting.
interactive, yes. Hmm.
Yes. People
Hmm.
started interacting. Initially, in the earlier CoinSwitch app, we only had 1% users going in. Right now, we have 22% users going in. Right,
Wow. Hmm.
right. So in the whole CoinSwitch, initially when we launched, out of 100, every 75 people were scrolling the news, reading the news. So that is a real world problem. I guess this is the best example. Forget about the earlier one. That's a small example. I guess this is the best example that we have turned out for the users. So
Hmm.
this doesn't only about giving news; it's about retention. How we are retaining users more into our platform. If they're giving more time to the platform, they're ready to, let's say, now the second phase we have worked, just like we spoke about that we divide into phases now. The second phase is live right now. Now, if you're seeing the news of Bitcoin or Ethereum, we have given the button of trade now. Initially, it was only the news. If the Ethereum is up, people are getting the news. We have given like
Hmm.
इतना ऊपर है अब तो खरीद लो, right?
Hmm.
So we are yet to have that data. We have not received the data yet, but hopefully it might turn out to be good. So that is what the
Yes.
phase two of the design is. So this is the real world problem that we have solved, that we needed to be, let's say, how, see, there is a behavior of user. User is already knows Instagram reels and all. How we can do it similar to our platform.
Hmm.
It's a
Hmm.
already solved problem, but we have done some gimmicks, tricks, and into it so that user get, let's say, it gets intuitive for the user, it gets interactive for the user.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, so it comes down to understanding your user first and then probably going along with the technologies that are advancing.
yeah, yeah.
So that was all for the session today.
Sure,
We
sure.
were in conversation with Anshul Bhatia. It was a lovely chat, Anshul,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping all the audiences who've been watching us really enjoyed the session because I did. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Yeah, I guess I've answered all the questions. If there's something, you can have my LinkedIn and all. We can chit chat about the design process. No worries.
Yes, yes,
I
lovely.
will also learn something from you guys. I'm not the
Yes,
perfect one, but yeah, it's okay. You guys can
yes.
connect on LinkedIn. No worries.
Lovely. So, if there's any doubt or anything else you want to ask, you can connect with Anshul on his LinkedIn.
Yeah,
And that is about it. Thank you so
sure.
much.
Sure. Thank you so much. It's been pleasure. Have a great day, guys.